Alrighty. Welcome everybody to the Squadcast, our show where we cover all stuff worth talking about from the capital region and beyond. Got a big show today, but first, got something we have to address. Sam, all eyes are on you right now, even though we can't really see your eyes. So if you don't mind taking off those sunglasses, look at that tan. You said it was going to even out. What happened?
I never said it would get even. People were commenting on how red I was this weekend because I was out there for probably like 26 hours throughout the whole weekend getting my tan on. I was like, the redness will turn into a tan eventually. I have to fix this. I have to spend next weekend without the sunglasses on if that's possible.
All right. Well,
you know what I was doing all weekend, Jack?
What?
You know what I was doing all weekend?
What were you doing all weekend, Sam?
I was tanning on the rooftop with our new sponsor, Corona. I was getting all Coronas deep. I was up there Saturday. I got there at noon, cracked the Corona. I was up there till 12 o'clock at midnight, then till the end of the night, drinking Coronas all day. But I think I might need more Corona. Decrescente SOS over here because I drank most of my Coronas in one day. So if we're going to last a whole month, I need more Coronas on deck.
All right, Sam, this is just a red alert in my face that you're getting way too comfortable in your position here at 2 buttons deep. Not only was that probably the worst ad read of all time, you just begged our company for more product. We need to talk about last week. Your behavior to our president, Gary Dake.
Shots fired.
Listen,
Gary's coming for you.
We brought you into this competition, and not only did you not follow the rules, not only did you try and frame me on my own show for making up rules, but you called our president, Gary Dake, Jerry. I'm going to pass it to Sam Meir now. The floor is yours.
What's going on, Gary? My name is Sam. You might have seen me on the show before.
Gary.
That was an honest mistake. I did accidentally.
I don't care. We don't get our president's time that easily. So when we do, we can't have people like you messing it up. So for that, in direct result of keeping everything aside, just the fact that you called him Jerry, we're going to have to bench you.
What does that mean?
You're off the show. And it's tough because it's Corona week. We know that. You're the Corona guy. So here's what's going to happen. We're about to cut you. You're going off. And we'll give you one more shot on Thursday. You're going to come back, and I want you to have the pimpest Corona apartment of all time. We've already given you the supplies. We've given you the beer. You're going to give us a little MTV tour and the best ad read of all time. And if not, Katie might replace you on the show.
Study up, boy. Get your Corona facts straight.
Are the rules clear to you?
Yeah, I got to pimp up my apartment in Corona gear.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
All right. So get to it.
Sounds good. So that's it?
Yeah.
That's it. All right.
That's it. There he goes.
So long. Do you guys think he's going to do it?
He took that better than I thought he was going to take it.
I think, yeah. Well, time will tell. We'll check in on Sam with Thursday. But for now, let's bring in the one, the only, Katie Alois.
Thanks for having me.
You know what season it is, right?
Oh, is this a trick question?
No, it's not. Katie, you're coming into Corona season. Everybody knows it's Corona season.
Oh.
Raise one up. You got Corona Extras. We got Corona Seltzers now. And my favorite, Corona Premier. It is only 90 calories, smooth and perfectly balanced. And it's going to be driving the squad all throughout the month of May and probably the second half of quarantine. So
Corona just feels like summer. It feels like getting outside. And I got to say, this one they say, I learned a fun fact when I picked this up from Decrescente. The Corona Premier, it's lower calorie. It has a little bit of a different taste, so you actually don't need a lime with it. But many people do prefer it. I like mine with a lime. It gives me a little vegetables in my diet. Fruit.
Fruit.
Yeah, I was like, wait, huh?
All right, well, let's get into the stories today. Our stories here on the Squadcast have always and probably always will be sourced from the one and only Albany Times-Union.
Look at her. She's so beautiful.
This is where I've gotten my news my whole life growing up here in the capital region. They've been around for 160 years. We'll be around for many more. I was super happy. You guys know my favorite part of the paper is the archive, the Around the Region. It's always in the capital region section. I'm just going to go like this so I can read it easier.
Oh, wow.
Look at this. Is
a good one?
Talk about full circle. I learn something every day I go to this section. It's right here. It's the archive. It shows what happened 100 years ago and then 50 years ago. And here it has a photo from a flood in 1983 that took down like half the town of Waterford. And that brings us to today, where half of the town of Waterford just had that giant landslide and now is in Hudson. So what's going on with Waterford? I thought that was a pleasant little village. It seems to be like a natural disaster-ridden place. You guys heard about that?
I mean, every 100 years. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Family Friends is actually a photographer for another local paper. And I saw on his feed yesterday, he was at the scene and like the house fell maybe 20 feet from the time he got there in the afternoon to yesterday evening. So I just can't imagine like going through a pandemic and then, oh, by the way, your house is just sliding off a cliff.
Well, it's weird too that I don't know why people would decide to live there, because furd in Latin means like full of, so water, full of water. So it's like, why would you even live in a town like that?
That's what.
Wow, Jordan dropping knowledge.
I know it.
I made that up.
Ford and water.
Oh my
The
God.
funniest part is I took Latin, and my mom texts me all the time when there's a crossword puzzle in the Times Union, and she's like, "Help! It's Latin word for this," and I'm like, "I have no idea. Don't ask me." But our first story tonight: there's a man arrested trying to quarantine on a private Disney island. Kind of just a guy that seems like he went for it and played the dumb card. The Orange County Sheriff's deputies found Richard McGuire on Disney's Discovery Island on Thursday. He said he'd been there since Monday and had planned to camp there for a week, according to the arrest report. 42-year-old said he did not hear numerous deputies searching the private island for him on foot, by boat, or in the air because he was asleep. He told the deputy he didn't know it was a restricted area, despite there being numerous no trespassing signs. Richard stated that he was unaware of that and that it looked like a tropical paradise, which is not wrong. Taylor, how do you feel about this? Oh, Katie, how do you feel about this?
Well, first of all, like I had to double check, but this is an island that like urban explorers, right? Like Atlas Obscura types like have ventured to before. So A, it's certainly not easy to get there. B, it almost reminds me of like what you'd think an abandoned Jurassic Park would be like, because it was an animal sanctuary and jungle before Animal Kingdom did its thing. I could see him not being able to hear people if he was like asleep in a little abandoned lizard cage or something that was like in the middle of the island, but random place. Like it's not it's not the paradise you and I think it would be.
It's not the Disney that our friends go to?
No, it's like Disney after hours, like Jurassic Park meets, what lies beneath. Like that's not any place I'd want to be. Definitely not in the middle of a quarantine when Disney is like empty and the animals are just taking over places as it is.
We brought this hypothetical up of obviously that guy sought it out. It's quarantine. You got to be remote regardless. Where is your perfect paradise to spend quarantine with all things considered? You still have your job. There's still the law. You still have responsibilities. But if you didn't have to be in your apartment, where would you be? Jordan?
I would say, if after all my other stuff, if I was able to hold up in Sam's Club after hours, that would be it for me. Ooh. Like I would be snacking, I'd be eating, I'd be playing the video games on the TVs, I'd be riding around, running around in the carts. I could have the time of my life in Sam's Club. And they got plenty of Corona in there too, so I would have the time of my life.
I like it. Taylor?
If travel wasn't a thing, that was the whole thing when I read this story. I thought he was at like regular Disney World. I didn't realize he was like on an abandoned island. And I feel like that brings you back to when you're a kid and you go to the mall. If you're a fashionista like me and you're like, oh my God, I wish I could live at Macy's at Herald Square or some shopping plaza. So if I couldn't go to Key West or some remote island somewhere, I would probably want to hold up at Crossgates Mall, check that new inventory that's probably still getting delivered at Zara. Maybe eat at a couple great places in the mall. Maggie McFly's is there. You got some good spots, Auntie Anne's pretzels. I could probably whip one of those things up, just figuring it out on my own. So if I had to quarantine anywhere in the capital region, it would definitely be at Crossgates.
Katie?
I changed my answer.
Oh, all right, Jordan.
Crossgates.
You want to go to Crossgates with me?
Yeah, I forgot about all of it.
Isn't there isn't Costco going to be going near
Maybe.
Crossgates anyway? So I mean, Jordan, or there's Super Walmart there, Jordan. Maybe you compromise. You can be near
I don't
Taylor
care.
at Crossgates and be at Super Walmart.
I'll starve myself if I can get Dave and Buster's and the movie theater and all those other things.
Yeah, actually, that's making the mall seem like a pretty attractive option. There's probably a gym in there. Is there a gym in there?
Yeah.
Is there that Bally's?
Oh, there is a gym in there. Oh, perfect. I'm going to Crossgates. Hey, we have connections there. I might do it right now. They might let me in.
That would be something. It could be like way back. Remember when we were kids growing up and they had that Fly 92 stuff the bus thing where they had people live on the bus for like X amount of time and they got a tuition? You could.
It was like a Survivor spinoff.
Yeah, you could spend quarantine and get Zara clothing.
Oh,
yeah, but the catch is that Taylor would have to power walk the entire mall up and down at least once a day.
That would be great. I wouldn't get my COVID 15 pounds going on. This is a great idea.
There you go. Katie, where's your hideout?
Well, I was thinking, like, what better time to be in a luxury underground bunker than a lot of these millionaire doomsday people are like popping up all over the place. Mm-hmm. But my twist is that it would be underneath the Wild Center up at Tupper Lake in the Adirondacks, because that's like an adult playground. That's like my cup of tea. Technically right now it's we're supposed to be hiking local, which is great, but there's not many super challenging things. So at least I could be quarantining in the high peaks, getting my hike on, like living underground in Lux. I'd have all the amenities at home. And my rooftop would be the Wild Center, because what's on top of a underground bunker but the normal earth. So that's what I was thinking, to kind of like get my blast from the past on. And then movie that was like with the guy from Encino Man, and he was like in the underground bunker. No,
that went way over my head.
Okay.
But
all right.
Yeah, what about you?
My hideout is right here where I'm at, downtown Albany, living at the Nick.
Oh my God.
You say it's easy, but it's perfect, because why? I have a dishwasher. I went the last 10 years without a dishwasher. You think I want to go another quarantine without one? Absolutely not. I got my dishwasher. I got my rooftop where I can catch some rays, and it's going to be the tannest summer of all time. You heard it here first, which isn't saying much for me, but it's a start. And above all, I get to take my nightly walks to the plaza and see the New York Tough building that inspires me like no other. So I'm happy here in downtown Albany because I know how to make the most of it.
All right.
Crossgates.
You guys
have you seen Dawn of the Dead 2? Crossgates.
See how much fun Crossgates is when there's not people stocking the shelves. I've seen Dawn of the Dead 4. I know what happens in those malls. Speaking of Dawn of the Dead, oh my God. The murder hornet is here in America. It is a deadly pest from Japan, which kills 50 to 100 people every single year. They grow up to 2 inches. These Asian giant hornets can use weapons like spiked shark fins to wipe out the honeybee hive that they're attacking in a matter of hours. They decapitate their prey and fly away with their thoraxes to feed their young. And for larger targets, the hornet's potent venom and stinger, long enough to puncture a beekeeper's suit, make for an excruciating combination that victims have likened to hot metal driving into their skin. They were found this month in the state of Washington, and they spread rapidly and completely decline whatever bee population stands in their way. So scientists have embarked on a full-scale hunt for these hornets, worried that the invaders could decimate.
All right, enough. That was enough.
I was like one sentence away from
That's
the
enough. That's enough.
2020 sucks.
Yeah. So anyways, just another happy story we found in the news today.
That is enough.
Have you seen the video of forget his last name, Coyote?
Yeah. Where he got stung?
No. They literally said in video, they're like, they are advising that if you see one in public, get as far away as possible. Like, what?
These murder bees with like 2-inch stingers. And
Like regular hornets and honeybees, they say to just stay still and it'll leave you alone. And these ones are like, run.
they're on a mission, yeah.
I thought the only thing we had to worry about up here were ticks, and that's a problem itself. So this is like, and 2 inches long. I saw it. That's a huge insect. So I can't imagine. And for what it's worth, I read that they can sting through a beekeeper's uniform. So I don't feel like any of us are safe.
Yeah, when I was in
I
Japan,
would be safe at cross
ones.
gates.
You would be safe in
True.
cross gates. So that's, I guess it's kind of good timing for like a detrimental animal to come into our outdoors because none of us are out there. But, you know, in reality, at the end of the day, 50 to 100 people, it's not that many compared to what is happening currently in our world.
No, this is nothing about this is cool. I actually take a lot of pride in myself because I feel like I'm one of the least scared people of bugs. Like I am very, very tolerant of like spiders, snakes, like flies, bees. Like we have a couple clips of me over the years making everybody else known that they're bringing a baby when a bee's around. Jack, former John Longton. I just have a very high tolerance for them as I hear a fly buzzing around actually in my apartment from leaving the windows open. But this might be the one to break me. And I didn't set a good example today. We always say, read the stories on the Times-Union on your app or on your phone or on your computer before the show. And I just couldn't really get myself to read too much about this one because just not interested.
Really didn't want to hear about it, did you?
You really exaggerated the read there. That was a long paragraph. I got it.
How can I exaggerate when I'm reading verbatim?
It reminds me of those genetically engineered wasps that were in the Hunger Games books.
Yes.
Oh no.
Tracker Jackers, right?
Oh yeah, I read those.
I am telling you, this is the second time I have associated real life or something that's going on right now with something in the Hunger Games. The first one was yesterday when Governor Cuomo announced that like the region was going to be like a new purchasing agent. And I thought about how in the book, the country is divided into different districts. Like district 1 is this, district 2 is that. So I don't know, guys.
Well, if we split up
apocalyptic.
New York State into districts, Buffalo would be its own. That's not news. You know, the Bills Mafia, they're always in full force. And it doesn't stop even in the offseason. Even when sports aren't happening, there's still Bills Mafia making a fool of themselves on the interweb. We posted this video this week of the Buffalo baby gender reveal.
Bills Mafia gender reveal.
So, I mean, at first I chuckled in the beginning. I mean, I'm not like a Bills Mafia person. I don't stand for child abuse at all. But, you know, I thought it was like a tiny bit clever until I realized like, oh yeah, that's like not cool at all. The poor kid didn't have a say in that, getting thrown around like a little rag doll. So I think it's just like we as in a society just have to kind of be careful or conscious about crossing that line between what's funny and what's actually involving children, and perception's reality. So if something can be perceived or misconstrued as abuse or just behavior that's not becoming of a parent, then, you know, we shouldn't maybe, you know, we should think twice about laughing at it or sharing it. Not us as two buttons, but just, you know.
That was very mature of you, Katie. Jordan, how do you feel?
First of all, I don't even know what the gender was.
I
didn't see the gender.
Say.
They
What
chucked
is
the
the
baby in the cake, and then I didn't see any color. I was like,
That's
what?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. But the one thing I would add off, like kind of what Katie said, was just like, I'm on the side of comedians that I just feel there's got to be that understanding of the difference of like laughing at something and laughing at like the reaction of it. Like, yeah, if I see a dude throw his baby in a cake, my first reaction is like, wait, what? Like a little,
Right.
I'm going to laugh at it. But obviously you don't chuck your kids. First of all, make your gender reveal successful. Cause I have no clue.
Yeah, that's true.
But I hope they at least ate the cake too.
I hope they didn't. That baby's diaper looked full. Taylor?
I just watched it again. Like, I don't think it was a gender reveal. Like, that guy's not a parent. There's no one pregnant in the video.
I think.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I think Taylor, the guy announced.
I thought the same thing, but he starts off. He goes, "It's a Buffalo Bills gender reveal."
No, I know that he says that, but like, I don't think he means it. I think they wanted to just throw this baby into a cake and needed an excuse. But like usually you cheer and you go, "Oh my God, it's a boy!" Like this is not. So this is false advertising, I guess, is my first thing. Is that this is just straight up false advertising. I mean, the baby seems fine. Clearly, it has a bed under it. I want to know what the Bills Mafia thought, though, because this is very on point with their brand.
I'm sure they loved it.
You know, I feel like they would ride for this video.
For people,
what if the kid even asked for it? What if he was like, "Throw me in the cake, throw me in the cake," and they're like, all right already, we'll do it.
Tommy, on your 5th birthday, we'll throw you into the cake. Don't worry.
Right.
I mean, I think it's funny. I've definitely been thrown further as a child, so I don't think it was that big of a deal. But, it's
Wait, someone commented, hold on. Somebody commented, so they're having a white baby?
Because it was all white cake. That's correct.
I mean, they're not wrong.
That made me That made me question the brain power of that family because it was so clearly a gender reveal without any reveal at all. I think they just, Taylor's right. They wanted to throw a baby in a cake, and that was their excuse.
Right.
I didn't think it was that crazy, though, for the people who were coming at us for posting it. I was like, take it at face value and move on. Come on.
What's everybody doing? I mean, tomorrow is one of the biggest Corona holidays of the year. There are plenty of great spots in the 518 for takeout if you're going to do some Mexican inspired dishes tomorrow. What are the plans? We delivered, or we met up with Jordan safely, got him his Corona in hand. So I know you're at least a quarter of the way there. But this is big. I mean, I feel bad. Sam's missing out this week on his favorite beer, but
he better not be missing out because that means he's not doing his job.
I am ready. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to have my Taco Tuesday. I'm going to be dancing. I'm going to have my music, my Corona.
That's the answer I wanted, not a shameless plug.
For best believe, I make the best tacos, so tomorrow is going to be great.
I would feel rude not ordering from Amo Casino because I stare at their restaurant all day, every day. And
they're only open on Thursdays, Thursday through Sunday.
I think they'll be open. If they're a real one, they'll be open tomorrow. And if they're open tomorrow, that's where I'm getting my Mexican from.
Fair enough.
How about you, Katie?
I mean, the good thing about being first in line at Jumpin' Jacks is that by the time dinner comes around, I'll be ready for some tacos. So
there you go. Boom.
Burgers for lunch, maybe. And then I do want to take advantage of probably some type of taco bar. I've actually really wanted to try Toro.
That's what I kind of wanted.
Yeah.
They were trying to get 2 Buttons Deep hanging with them right before all this happened. I heard it's really, really good.
Oh, they should deliver a little taco bar to the Nick.
I know. That was my thing. I might get it from there. Maybe we'll mix it up. But
no, I have heard that's phenomenal. I would try that too. That would be my go-to.
Just people are just beside themselves because it's the first Taco Tuesday plus. People are so into all of this. So I think people are going to be pretty going hard tomorrow with their Corona.
Oh yeah.
Well, good.
Taco
We're locked and loaded.
Tuesday.
Corona Premier, my personal favorite. Anything else from you guys?
Subscribe to the Times Union for $1 a week.
Can't beat that. That's less than a Corona.
And run from the Hornet.
Run from who?
Don't get stoned.
Run from the Hornets.
Run quick.